Yes. Okay. What is the meaning of this? This additional function. Okay. Fine. Now let us understand it like this. Okay. This by the way, next our the we have Ganesh sir class. Ganesh sir is only today is not engaging. So what I do now is I'll continue for some. I thought I will take a break and we will continue. But I think I can continue and I can leave early. I think that would be better. What do you guys say? What do you guys say, guys? Is that okay? I'll continue for some time and then I'll leave. Okay? Second hour.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Because instead of taking break, we'll continue for some time, then we can take it, we can close it. Okay. Here we go. So, okay. What is the meaning of this additional function? Let us understand. So port 0, if you can see here, port 0 corresponds to, it has additional function like AD0 to AD7 and port 2 A8 to A15. What does it mean? 805 microcontroller, we have 805 microcontroller. This is interface to external memory. Let's say this is interface to external memory. Um, external memory. Now when it is interface to external memory, okay, this whenever we say memory, there are locations because external memory is used as both RAM as well as ROM. RAM as well as ROM. RAM means data storage, and ROM means code space or code memory, instruction memory. Okay. So whenever there is a memory, there is address. See, just like our house address, See, how can we have an house, house without its address? Not possible, not possible. So at least in cities environment, at least. Okay. So whenever there is a memory location, there is an address for each memory location. How do we access external memory locations? Using a special function register called as DPTR that we have discussed in the last class. DPTR stands for data pointer register. The size of this data pointer register is 16-bit. So size of this data pointer register is 16-bit. Okay. Now what happens is that this using this DPTR, we are going to point to external memory location, some location whose address is stored in DPTR, whose 16-bit address is stored in DPTR. Okay. This is DPTR. If you want to understand DPTR in easy terms, you guys know what is a pointer in C languages. Pointer in C language. I don't know whether you have studied that or it was not there in the syllabus, autonomous syllabus. Was it there in C languages? Pointers? Is anybody? Pointers in C language? Yes, can somebody respond? Pointers, you had pointers in C language, first year C? Okay, anyway. Okay, no problem. So data pointer register is used to access particular location in external memory because its address is stored in DPTR register. Now, what happens is that mm, uh, okay. So now this address and data lines, okay, address and data lines has to be carried through separate buses called as address bus and data bus. Okay, it's called as a address bus and what is known as a data bus. Address bus and a data bus. Okay. Now we know that even if it is external memory, the size of address is 16-bit. The size of address is 16-bit. What is the size of data? Number of bits in each location is 8-bit. 8-bit. Data remains 8-bit and the address size is 16-bit even in the external memory. Okay. So thereby address size is 16-bit, data size is 8-bit. Now just now we have understood that these ports we discussed discussed 4 ports: port 0, port 1, port 2 and port 3. Out of these 4 ports, port 0 and port 2 is used to carry the address and data lines to the external memory. Address and data lines to the external memory. Okay. Now, how does it do? How does it carry the address and data? Let us understand in little detail. Okay. because we know that address size is 16 bit. Okay, address size is 16 bit. Address size is 16 bit. Okay, that means we need 16 lines, 16 parallel lines, 16 lines to carry the address. Okay, so since it requires 16 address lines, one port is not sufficient. Why? Because one port has only 8 bit. One port carries only 8 lines. One port carries only 8 lines, 8 bits or 8 lines. We need 2 ports. So microcontroller makes use of port 0 as well as port 2 to carry the address lines, because together it will form 16 bits. Okay, and this address, when we write the address, it is something like this. Sorry, here is the, I think I can go back, I guess, or something like this. Okay, here we go. Yes, if you write the address, guys, I think let me, I don't know, I think I can make use of another space. I'm not sure. Okay, anyway, okay, so 16-bit address, let me write on this side here. Okay, 16-bit address which are stored in port 0 as well as port 2. Okay, so out of 16-bit address, this is the lower byte, that is from 0 to 7, and this is the upper byte from 8 to 15. So totally it is 16 bits. Okay, this lower 4 bits, lower 8 bits of 16-bit address, this is address. Okay, this is address, are stored in lower 8 bit are stored in port 0, is stored in port 0, and upper 8 bit is stored in port 2. Upper 8 bit is stored in port 2. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, upper 8 bit is stored in port 2. Okay, now how do we represent this address? If you write the address, that is A0, A1, A2. This, I'm sorry for this. Let me erase this. Okay, 16-bit address. Let me write it again. So let's say A0, A1 up to A7. Okay, it is stored in port 0. Okay, and from A8 to A15, A8 to A15, it is stored in port 1. Sorry, port 2. I'm sorry, port 2. Okay, port 2. Okay, so that's why if you see the port 2, if you see the pin diagram of port 2, you can observe that here, that it is also represented as A8 to A15. A8 to A15, because it carries the upper 8 bit of 16-bit address. Upper 8 bit of 16-bit address, which corresponds to location in the external memory. See, this address is the address of external memory, from where we have to read the data or we have to write the data into external memory. That is port 2. That is port 2. What about port 0 base? It carries lower 8 bit of lower 8 bit or lower byte of 16-bit address. That is A0 to A7. A0 to A7. But along with that A0 to A7, there is a D also. What does this D corresponds to? Okay, so now 8051 microcontroller, when it is interfaced to external memory, this external memory stores the data as well as instruction. So these address lines and these bus in the sense parallel wires, which carries the address as well as data. These parallel wires or bus carries the 16-bit address using port 0 and port 2. It carries 8 bit of data. It also carries 8 bit of data. 8 bit of data. So for 8 bit of data, we don't require 2 ports. Only 1 port is sufficient. Thereby, microcontroller makes use of port 0 for 8-bit data. Port 0 for 8-bit data. Okay. So this 8-bit data for 8-bit data carried by port 0 is used to transfer the data from 8051 microcontroller to external memory, and from external memory back to 8051 microcontroller. And those locations are pointed by the DPTR register of 8051 microcontroller. Okay, so whatever the location pointed by DPTR, to that location data will be transferred, or data will be read from that particular location in the external memory. Okay, so thereby what we will find now is this port 0 performs two functions. One is it will carry the lower 8 bit of lower byte or lower 8 bit of 16 bit address, lower 8 bit of 16 bit address. It also carries 8 bit of data. Okay, so thereby this port 0 is represented as AD0. There is first bit of port 0, there is P0.0. P0.0 is represented as AD0. Okay, and P0.1 is represented as AD1 because A corresponds to address, D corresponds to data. This 0 and 1 represents the bit position, that is LSB and LSB plus 1. Okay, likewise P0.7 corresponds to AD7. AD7. Okay, so that we can observe here. Okay, there is out of 16 bit address, lower 8 bit address is carried by the port 0, upper 8 bit address is carried by port 2, and the 8 bit data will be carried by only port 0, because the size of data is always 8 bit, because microcontroller cannot handle any data bigger than 8 bit. So that is since it is the limitation. So since the data size is 8 bit, port 0 carries 8 bit of data. That's okay. So that's about port 0 and port 2. Port 1, if you see the port 1, there's no additional function. See, unlike port 0 or port 2 or port 3, port 1 does not has additional function. Then what is the function of, or what is the application of port 1? Port 1 is used as a IO port, input output port. Of course, IO port, even port 0 can be used as IO port. Port 2 is also used as IO port. Okay, all the three ports can be used as IO port. Okay, especially port 1 is used as only IO port. It does not have any other function like carrying the data or carrying the address. Okay, it's just a normal input output pin. Okay, that is port 1. And port 3 carries some control signals. Okay, for example, there are 8 pins. The first 2 bits of port 3, that is P3.0 and P3.1, carries control signal for serial communication. Okay, RxD corresponds to receive data, RxD, there is a reception of data. TXD corresponds to transmission of data. For serial communication, these 2 pins are used. Okay, more on this we'll discuss later, guys. Don't worry, things may not be totally clear at this point in time. Okay, so we should understand what is the pin functionality at this point. Okay, and P3.2 and P3.3 uses some interrupt signals. Okay, external interrupt signals represented as INT0 and INT1. What does this minus symbol indicates? If you can see it, look little closely, and let me zoom in so that you can see one minus symbol. Hyphen is used in I think this maybe is getting blurred as I zoom into the document. Okay, so you can see this minus hyphen symbol here. This hyphen symbol is nothing but a bar symbol. This indicates that it is active low signal. Active low signal in the sense this signal is effective whenever it is low. Whenever it is low, that is when it goes from high to low, there is 1 to 0. When it is high or logic 1, these 2 signals will not have any effect on the microcontroller. Okay, so these 2 are external interrupts. Okay, so these 2 lines can be used as, that is P3.2 and P3.3 can be used as a external hardware interrupts. More on this we'll discuss later. Okay, because it is a separate topic anyway. P3.4 and P3.5, they are used as timer interrupts, external timer interrupts, because we know that there are 2 timers, timer 0 and timer 1. Okay, timer 0 and timer 1, each are of 16 bit in size. So for this timer, we can provide the clock pulse either from internal source or from external source. If you provide clock pulses to these 2 timers externally, these 2 pins are used, P3.4 and P3.5. Okay, so these 2 provides external clock input for timers. External clock pulses for timers. Okay, I guess we'll discuss this more on this little later. Don't worry. Okay, and we have 2 more pins left in P3 port 3. there is a write and read signal. Okay, it is a active low signal. Active low, that is a minus indicates, hyphen indicates is a active low signal. Okay, yeah. Write and read signal. This is used whenever external memory is interfaced to microcontroller. Okay, that is to enable write operation or read operation. These two pins are employed. Yes, okay. So that's about port 3 pins. Of course, pins not clear at this point, because all are very new concepts. But we'll go in detail. So we have to discuss all the pins in, all the functions in detail anyway. In fact, they happens to be separate chapters, separate topics in our course. Okay, yeah. Along with that, along with this 38 pins, 32 pins. I'm sorry. So 32 pins corresponds to port pins. They are left with 8 pins. Out of 8 pins, VCC, just now we discussed 5 volts, and ground corresponds to 0 volts. Okay, so you are left with only 6 pins. Okay, 8 minus 2, 6 pins. Okay, out of 6 pins, pin number 9 is reset. Okay, it is called as master reset, or in some textbook you may you may find author calling this as a master reset. Anyway, this is a reset pin. What is this reset pin? If an I signal is applied, that is from 0 to 1, there is a raising signal, or when a logic high signal is applied, complete memory will go to 0. There is microcontroller will be reset. Reset in the sense it will restart, but all its memory content will be 0. All the memory content, all the memory content of 8051 microcontroller will be reset to 0, except few locations. What are those locations? We'll discuss in memory architecture. Okay. So, but in general terms, this reset signal is used to control the operation of the microcontroller. That is to stop the operation whenever. Okay, why do we stop? So in some conditions we may have to reset the microcontroller. We may have to stop its operation, execution of instruction. Then we make use of this signal. Okay, RST, which stands for reset, also called as master reset. Okay, so out of 6, first one pin is a reset pin. Next pins are, there are 2 more pins called as XTAL. Just a second, and let me check whether I have added. Of course, all the pins are explained here. This there is a detailed discussion of each pin here. You can go through this. I'll share the document. You can go through that. Not a problem. Okay, XTL2. So next we have to discuss this XTL2. It's just a second. It's not in this. It's not given in. I don't have this. Explanation, of course, I have here in 1 to 8. Okay, XTL2, there is explanation here, but there is no diagram. Okay, it's not included in this document. Okay, just hold on a second. Let me open the corresponding diagram. Just hold on a second. XTL2 1 and 2 of okay, so they're actually used to interface external crystal oscillator. So I wanted a diagram, so that we can discuss with diagram. Let us go to images. So with the diagram better, we'll understand more clearly. Otherwise, things will not be clear. XTL2 is explained here. This is better. This looks okay. Yeah, this is okay. Let me check out this. Is there any other diagram which gives a more? This is also okay. Anyway, no problem. Okay, this, can you see this? I think I need to download the image. Just a second. It's opening, no problem. But I think it's opening the website, not the image. I want the image actually. Say image, copy, open image in new tab. Okay, so this is better. Here we go. Oh yeah, this is okay. Of course, you find some bookmark also. Some yeah, here we go. Okay, this, what are the pin number, guys? XTL2 is pin number 18, and XTL1 is pin number 19, and ground is pin number 20. Ground is pin number 20. Okay, fine. So now we know that 8051 microcontroller is a digital IC. Digital IC in the sense, It takes only zeros and ones. Takes only zeros and ones, and they are triggered based on the what is known as a triggering pulse, that is clock pulse. It is triggered based on what is known as a clock pulse. Now, how do we generate this clock pulse? Okay, I mean, I think that we discussed, last class maybe. That is, our result should be clock pulse. The requirement is we should generate a clock pulse. How do we generate? For the generation of clock pulse, we cannot directly generate clock pulse. We have to convert sinusoidal signal into clock pulse. We have to convert sinusoidal signals into clock pulse. These sinusoidal signals are generated using what is known as crystal oscillators. Crystal oscillator. This crystal oscillator you have come across in your ADC lab also. Okay, you had a crystal oscillator which generated 2 megahertz crystal. It generated 2 megahertz crystal. Just a second, let me open that also. Crystal oscillator. Just a second. Okay. So wait to imagine, when we can quickly open crystal oscillator. With the frequency also it is going. Yeah, something like this. This you have come across, guys. Sorry, let me erase this. This kind of oscillator used in your okay, yeah, there we go. This kind of oscillator used in your microcontroller, okay, and the frequency of the crystal output will be printed on the crystal oscillator. In some crystal oscillator it will be printed, okay, something like this. What is the unit of this oscillation base? It is megahertz. Okay, that means it can generate sinusoidal oscillations at a frequency of 12 megahertz. So frequency is 12 megahertz. 12 megahertz. Okay, so these sinusoidal signals generated by the crystal oscillator, okay, something like this. So we should go back to this diagram. Okay, generated by the crystal oscillator. Okay, generated by the crystal oscillator has to be this is the crystal oscillator here. Okay, it is generating the sinusoidal waveforms. This has to be converted into what is known as clock pulses. This has to be converted into clock pulses. Okay, who will does this conversion? That is by the oscillatory circuit available as part of the microcontroller. Okay, that is which is not visible here, but is available as part of the microcontroller. For this conversion purpose, these two additional capacitors are used. 30 picofarad capacitors are used. This acts as a filters. Okay, let's observe this. See, these capacitors are connected to ground. Okay, so what is the one of the salient feature of a capacitor is it allows only AC, blocks DC. Okay, so thereby these two acts as a filter and make sure that only there is no noise in the signal. And this and hence this sinusoidal signal will be converted into what is known as clock pulses by the oscillatory circuits available inside the microcontroller. Okay. So this is one way of connecting oscillator circuit to XTAL1 and XTAL2 pins. Okay, that is pin number 18 and pin number 19 and pin number 20 of 805 microcontroller IC. Okay, there is one more method of providing the clock pulse. Okay, let us say we don't want this. Let us say we don't want to use a crystal oscillator. We can use a standard clock pulse generator. We can use a standard clock pulse generator external to the microcontroller. We can interface that to either to XTAL1 or to XTAL2, not to both, either one of them. Okay, so if you have the clock source directly, you can straight away interface to either XTAL1 or XTAL2, or if you have a crystal oscillator, then convert that oscillation, that is sinusoidal signals into clock pulses using oscillatory circuit available inside the microcontroller. Yes, okay. So that's how these two pins are used. That is XTAL1. As the name suggests, what is the external oscillator. So that is the meaning of XTAL, external oscillator. Okay, so that is the meaning of XTAL1 and XTAL2 pins. So basically, they use it makes use of two pins. Okay, so that you can see here also internal oscillatory input and output. A quartz crystal which specifies the operating frequency is usually connected to these pins. Okay. Okay, so that's about these two pins, that is XTAL1 and XTAL2. Okay, so we're now we are left with yeah. Okay. three more pins. There is these three pins, guys. There is these three pins. You can see that here. Let me discuss. I'll discuss this right now. So, okay, because with this, the pin diagram will discussion will completes with this discussion. Okay, so what is this pin number 31? Pin number 31 is external enable. There is pin number. Yeah, here it is. Observe this, guys. Let me zoom in so that here we go. Pin number 31 EA. Okay, so what is this EA? This is address enable. That is, it's something like this. Just a second, I'll show it like this. Okay, 805 microcontroller. 805 microcontroller. Okay, is interface to external memory. External memory. This interface basically carries various address and data lines. Address bus and a data bus. This we discussed just now. Okay. Along with that, it will carry some more control signals. For example, EA signal. EA signal. What is this EA? Whenever 805 microcontroller tries to read the data from external memory. See, for 805 microcontroller, it has an internal RAM memory as well as internal ROM memory. It has an internal RAM memory as well as internal ROM memory. 805 microcontroller will read the instruction from internal ROM memory and it will read the data from internal RAM memory. Whenever this space, this memory locations are not sufficient, external memory is interfaced to microcontroller, then the external memory has to be enabled, because by default 805 will access only internal memory. It will not access external memory. To access external memory, this control signal is used. This signal indicates that it is going to access the external memory. Okay, so the explanation is given here. I think just a second. I'll check in this document also in case if it is just hold on a second, right? Yeah, here it is. Okay, there's a this from this document and different way of representation. Okay. Okay, just a second. I'll check whether EA pin is explained here. Okay, just wait for a second. 43. Okay. Just give me a second, and I think this here is more of a instructions than the. Okay. Okay, it's not given here. But the diagram is okay. This is more readable. Okay. For programming. Okay, in this only we have this pin diagram. It's 0.5 pin diagram, but this is not explained. Okay, just a second. Explained fine, but this is what I was explaining actually. If external oscillator signal is applied, there is clock pulses directly, then we can connect to either XTL1 or XTL2. Okay, anyway, this one I was looking at. Let me check if there is somewhere here. XTL2, okay, but yeah, EA pin is explained here. Okay, yeah, reset output must be okay. This is about reset. Okay, external access. Here we go. Okay, fine. Let's look at this. EA pin. There is pin number 31. Okay, so pin number 31 is EA pin, EA bar pin actually. That minus indicates it is a complement. You know, there is a active low signal. It is basically an active low signal. Okay, so this EA stands for external access. External access means external memory connected to 805 microcontroller. Okay, it is an input pin and must be connected to VCC or ground. Okay, so this is an input pin to microcontroller. This should be connected to VCC or ground. Okay, externally. Okay, why it is so? 8051 family members all come with a on-chip ROM memory and stored programs. This we know because 8051 has its own internal ROM memory, so that it will store all its program inside the microcontroller. It does not require external memory as it is. Okay, this external access pin, okay, will be connected to VCC. The pins, it's active low signal. Yes, you can observe this active low signal. When it is connected to VCC, it is the input pin. When it is connected to VCC, then this pin will not have any effect. This pin will not work. It is not required. It doesn't have any effect on the microcontroller operation. Whereas some lower end microcontrollers like 8031, 8032 microcontrollers, they do not have on-chip ROM memory. Okay, so the program or the code is stored in external ROM memory only. External memory which is used as a ROM memory, and it has to be, there is instruction has to be fetched by the microcontroller, that is 8031 and 8032. In such case, that is, if the microcontroller does not have a internal ROM memory where the instructions are stored, then this EA pin is used, external access pin is used. This, in that case, this pin must be connected to ground to indicate that the code is stored externally. Okay, this something like this, you know. Okay, I'll explain with this pin diagram. Yes, this pin connected to, there is two possibility, either connect to VCC, that is 5 volts plus VCC or plus 5 volts, or connect to ground, that is 0. Not both at the same time, it will damage the microcontroller, either to VCC or to ground. In 805 microcontroller, since it has an internal ROM space, we don't require external ROM space, then connect this pin to VCC, short this pin to VCC, forget it. Microcontroller will not access external memory, it doesn't care. In 8031 based microcontrollers, it does not have an internal ROM space. Any ROM or a RAM is external to microcontroller. That is external memory to microcontroller. In that case, this pin is connected to ground. Whenever this pin is connected to ground, microcontroller will automatically access the external memory. It will not access the internal memory because internal memory does not exist. Okay. Now the question here is, for 8031, whenever since the manufacturer knows that it does not have an internal memory, then why this pin is given? You know, it's understood. See, it does not have an internal memory. Obviously, it will access from external memory only. Then why to give this pin? This is useful in 8031, not only 8031, in 8051 also, because even if 8051 connected with external memory, which acts as a ROM memory, that is a read-only memory, that is to store the instruction, it will access both the internal ROM space as well as external memory, in the external ROM space. But for some locations, it will access. Some location it will access internal ROM space, some locations, and some more locations will be accessed from the external memory. This location-wise discussion will do sometimes in the next class, that is in the memory architecture. For timing, you understand that, you know, in 805 microcontroller, it will access both the internal ROM space as well as external ROM space based on the requirement. That is, maybe internal memory is not sufficient, or it has to have a separate code space. Then it will go for a external memory. Okay. In that case, if this pin is connected to ground, 8051 is forced to access the external ROM space, whereas if this external access pin is connected to VCC, 8051 microcontroller is forced to access the internal ROM space. Very simple. Okay. What is the default condition? Most of the 805 microcontroller comes readily available with external access pin connected to VCC by default. Okay, it is by default, it is connected to VCC. There is no question of connecting it to ground. No. It is by default it is connected to VCC. Okay, so this pin is called as external access pin. That's, I hope that's somewhat okay. I mean, that is the significance of a external access pin. As the name suggests, it will trigger the microcontroller to access the external memory. And this is the input pin. Sorry, I think in the beginning I said wrong. It is output pin. No, it is the input pin. That is, we have to connect VCCR. That is plus VCCR ground, depending on the requirement. Okay, yeah. Yes. Next we have what is known as ALE. That is address latch enable. Okay, yeah. So I'll refer this document. Address latch enable. Okay, yes. It's also called as program store enable or address latch enable. Okay, these two pins are used in 8031 based microcontrollers, not used in 805. But it's better to understand this because we understand how the external memory works. So for that, understanding of these two pins is important. Program store enable is a output pin from the microcontroller. This pin is connected to OE pin of the ROM memory. Okay, there is. Okay, so there is just a second. Okay. Yes, here we go. Okay, so this pin. Okay, I'll go back to this. This hold on a second. Yeah, this pin, that is ALE bar, ALE or program bar pin. Okay, this see this, it has a two function, guys. When the pin is set to 1. Okay, this is output pin basically. Sorry, this output pin. When it is output pin, it has two possibility. When either it can be 1 or 0. The bit can be 1 or 0. Okay, yeah. So thereby, when this pin is 1, this indicates that this should enable external ROM space. There is something like this. There is 805 is interface to external memory. Let me write external memory here only. External memory. Now this external memory has a pin called as OE. OE stands for output enable. Output enable. Okay. So this pin will be connected to OE, output enable. So guys, as the name suggests, program. Sorry, I'm discussing for PACN, guys. I'm sorry. This is not ALE. I'm sorry. This is PACN. There is program store enable. I'm sorry. Okay. This output pin, program store enable. This program store enable pin is connected to OE. That's output enable. If this pin is set to 1, that means external memory, which is used as a ROM memory, will be enabled. As the name suggests, program store program. What is program? It is a code. It is an instruction basically. Okay. These instructions are code is stored in only in ROM space. We know that it cannot be stored in the RAM space. RAM space is for the data. RAM space is for data. ROM space is for instructions. Okay. So the program store, that is ROM memory, will be enabled if this pin is set to 1. Whereas if this pin is set to 0, this output external ROM is disabled. Then what is the difference between PSEN bar and EA pin? EA pin is an input pin to the microcontroller, which forces the microcontroller to access the external memory. It is a trigger. It is a trigger in the sense, it is telling we are telling the microcontroller that you have to access external memory. Because internal memory may not be sufficient or may not be available. PSEN bar in turn is an output signal generated by the microcontroller, which enables the external memory. The question here is why we cannot, connect this EA pin to both the microcontroller as well as output enable. Not possible. Why? Because microcontroller may not access external memory always. It will access only when required. Okay, so that's why these two pins, there is EA pin and OE pin of external memory, cannot be same. I mean, cannot be commonly connected. It cannot be shorted because microcontroller will access external memory only when required. Okay, so there's a difference between external access and what is known as program store enable. Okay, so there is one more pin called as ALE, address latch enable. What is this address latch enable? Address latch enable is output pin again, and it is active I pin because there is no bar like PSEN, so it is output pin. Active I pin. Okay, so what is this active? What is the application of ELE, address latch enable? Port 0 provides both address and data. We saw that, it provides AD0 to AD7. That is, it will carry the lower 8-bit of 16-bit address. Also, it will carry the 8-bit of data from D0 to D7. 8-bit of data. Okay. This is fine. It is in case of 8051 microcontroller. Whereas in 8031 based microcontroller, it will multiplex address and data through port 0 to save the pins. Okay, that means these address lines, because these lines, address lines or pins are the physical pins. As you can see that here, they are the physical pins. More the number of pins, more will be the cable, more will be the conductor lines used, and it becomes very expensive. That's why we have serial communication very common these days. All your USB communication, all your VGA communication, okay, all the LAN connection, all your cable connection in cable TV, what you get in your house, it's a serial communication. It's not a parallel communication. Okay, so serial communication is cheaper. You can transmit your data over a longer distance. Okay, advantage. Okay, so thereby to reduce the number of lines, some lines are multiplex. Multiplex in the sense, for example, at a time it will carry the address. It will carry address. After some time, it will carry the data. It will carry the data. That is, same lines are used for address as well as data. If you have separate lines, what happens is that some set of lines can be used for address, some set of lines can be used for data. But it will take more lines. It will make use of more conducting lines. Okay, expensive and more space consuming. So better to multiplex. Multiplex means combine, merge the functionality of merge the functionality of address as well as data. Okay, so in 8031 based microcontroller, it will multiplex, that is combine address and data through port 0 to save pins, to save the number of lines. Very simple. Okay, this address latch enable pin is used for demultiplexing the address and data by connecting to the G pin of the 74LS373 pin. Okay, because this G pin, okay, this is not given in this document. 74LS. Okay, so okay, what is demultiplex case? Okay, first I'll discuss the demultiplexing. Okay, yes, I'll take another maximum 5 minutes, guys. Maximum 5 minutes. I'll wind up. Okay, from 805 microcontroller, 8051 or 8031, whatever it is. Okay, lines are multiplexed. That is, lines will carry either address or data, not both at the same time. Okay, address and data. That is, for example, lines are multiplexed. You have to connect it to multiple devices, external memory or external devices. These lines will be split. These lines will be split as a address lines as well as data lines. These lines will be split like this. Okay, and each line now can be used as a data lines or address lines. Data lines or address lines. This operation is called as demultiplexing. To perform this, microcontroller makes use of ELE pin, address latch enable pin. Okay, so as we know that it is output pin. Output pin in the sense it is an input to 74LS373 IC. It is a memory pin. 74LS373 is a memory chip IC, the memory chip. It has a G pin, so it acts as the input for G pin, which indicates that it is demultiplexing the address as well as data lines. Okay, because what is the meaning of latch? That is address latch enable. Okay, that means latching in the sense what is, we latch the door. It is not locking. It is temporarily latched to particular state. These lines are latched to particular state. For example, it may be carrying data. It may be carrying data at this point of time. After some time, it will carry the instruction. Okay, so that means it is latched to instruction or address, not instruction, guys. I'm sorry, address. I'm sorry. it is latched to address or it is latched to data. But for external memory, there is since we need to separate the address and data, these lines are latched to address rather than data, so that external memory IC will read the address. Okay, it will read the address first. Okay, because see, if you want, let us say I want to reach somebody's house, I need to know the address. Without knowing the address, I cannot reach. Address is a first basic thing. Only if address is known, we can access the location. Okay, so that's why address should be latched. Address should be separated from this set of lines. Okay, from this set of lines, so that if address is latched or address is separated, then data can be transmitted. Data can be transmitted, but this pin, ALE pin, is connected to G pin of a 74LS373 IC, so that memory chip will read the address from the address line. Okay. Okay. So this is about the pin diagram, but quickly I'll check the what you call 74LS. What is it? 373. Basically, it's a Texas-based memory IC. 74LS373. And let us check the G pin, guys. That we should wind up. Latches. It is a latch IC, but I want to check the what you call pin description, so that we understand. It's a latching IC, latch IC. In all the address pins, we use the address demultiplexing operation. We use the D latches. Output enable, yeah. Look at this, guys. Output enable. I think you are not able to see this. Let me zoom in. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Okay. Data appears on the bus when the output enable is low. Okay. From where this output enable comes, guys? Output enable comes from ALE. Address latch enable. Address latch enable. When address latch enable. Okay. When O is high, the bus output is at high impedance. Okay. That means if this input is high, set to 1, then the bus output is in the high impedance state. That means it does not carry any information. Okay. Output enable. Yes, let me check if I have the pin diagram is given here. OE bar, OE, output enable. Yeah, here it is. Pin number 1. Output enable. Okay, sorry, not output enable, guys. That we are looking for G pin. What is that? Where is the G pin? CP we found. Output enable. 74LS373. Okay, there is output enable pin, but where is the G pin? Just a second. G pin. They are not explained. But in this material, okay, just a second. In this material, they are given clearly the G pin of the 74LS373. Okay, but here there is no G pin. There is no mention of G pin here. Type this is the internal structure of 74LS373. Yes, just a second. I'll searching for that G pin. If it is fine. Otherwise, it's a latch-based IC which is used to demultiplex address and data. Okay, it is used in all microcontroller-based add-on cards. There is supporting devices. This IC is used. 74LS373. Okay, 3-state output, Octal D-type D-type flip-flops with 3-state output. Okay, that's fine. But output enable is found, but the G pin, edge pin, buffered, 8 latches, 3 input clamps. Sorry, I'm not able to find. Okay, let me search later. Okay, possible in the next class. I'll show it if I can find it. Okay. Yes, anyway, with that we completed the pin diagram. These are the various pins of a microcontroller, which we make use for our regular interfacing purpose. It's okay. Yes, thanks for joining us. It was a very lengthy class. I understand your class. Thanks for joining. See you in the next class. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Good day. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Good day. Good day. Good day. Oh, the recording is on. That's good. I need to stop recording.